Hey, how's it going, everybody? Oh, I forgot. I got my lights on. Go on every time I talk. I should probably turn the lights off too. Much better that way. I don't know how I forgot that, but whatever. Let's also try to fix this. Otherwise, it's just going to give everybody seizures when I talk. Also, it makes me feel like a god. Or you know what? I don't even know where my remote is, so we'll just leave it. We'll leave it. Let me know if it bothers you. Anyone in the comments. Let me know if all this crazy flashing light bothers you, or maybe it's cool. I don't know. Who knows? But I do know that this episode is going to probably bother lots of people. I feel like it's going to probably drive some people insane. And not me, of course. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. We're going to go through today's episode. We might review a little bit of last episode. Unfortunately, we had some minor problems that prevented us from going on last week after the show. But we can get into today's episode. So today's episode started right off hot, pretty good. Of course, we got an interesting kind of joke that kind of set off the whole episode. Like it seemed like Jerry talking about how he would, not survive without Beth, and that, he would, of course, because he was going to kill himself because, he would never, it was kind of like a morbid joke that's kind of realistic in a way, because I don't know, a lot of people do say those things in relationships. Mostly when you're a teenager, whatever, things like that happen, and it's like kind of a weird, funny joke that I think a lot of people would be like, is this supposed to be funny? Because I find it pretty funny. Like, one of those like kind of cringy. I don't know if I want to say cringy, but like it's a morbid joke that I think a lot of people get, and a lot of people are going to be like, laughing at it inside, but on the outside. But it actually sets up the whole episode, which I thought was like really interesting. Once we ended the episode, like him saying, like it came all the way back around again to him saying that he would kill himself if Beth ever broke his heart or left him, and it went some pretty interesting ways after that. After that, we directly got the introduction of this weird space Xbox of sorts. It was interesting that I like the joke. They kind of, I feel like they took a hit at No Man's Sky. I feel like there was a little bit of a punch at No Man's Sky in there, because they were saying, the realistic difficulty was at 4, it turned up to 10, and 10 just means you'll be floating around forever before you find anything, and you record a video for your son. And also that Rick said, like, you don't know gamer culture, like we think this shit is cool, which is funny because, yeah, like, I don't know if you guys know, No Man's Sky is a game where you travel through space. They had like it so that you could so that you could talk to other people and, venture into other people in your universe. However, the universes were so goddamn big, it took forever for people to actually for people to actually see each other. Like, it almost never happened, even though it was a possibility, and it was because space was so infinite, and they only sent so many people into each server or each game together. That's what I took it as. I took it as a kind of a hit at video games that are so realistic that they're, most people would find them boring, but people are happy just the fact that that it is realistic. I've always said, like, wanted a video game where, like, death should be realistic in video games. Like, you shouldn't be like, in Call of Duty, you're like, you get shot and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna crawl around until a guy gives me a syringe, and then it'll be all better, and I won't have any lasting effects of being shot, like, through the chest. Which, yeah, Call of Duty's a fun game, and these games, like, in order to preserve them being fun, they have to have like a less realistic approach to, like, you get shot and you're probably not going to get up and win the game after that. Anyways, kind of a big elaboration for that small joke, but I really appreciated that. I like that they played a lot of classic games. It was almost kind of like an interdimensional cable sort of thing where they constantly went through different video games and gave you kind of like funny explanations for how they could be different or more boring or funny or such as the Street Fighter game where you had to live out your life before you got to the fight. And then I loved when they did finally fight. It was, I believe, Rick playing against Summer, and he just said, "Eat my ass" right away, which if I had the courage, like I don't feel like that's something I would say in my everyday, but like if I had the courage to do it, I would just start telling people to eat my ass because I think that's hilarious. Every time it's said on Rick and Morty, I laugh my ass off. Like, just I don't know, eat my ass, Jerry. Absolutely love that. I thought it was pretty funny. Um, you know what? Let me just check here. Looks like I only got a couple people in here, so I'm not going to do the roll call, which is weird. But I know a lot of people have been asking me for this episode, so we'll probably get a lot of people on the rewatch. Yeah, so this is where the episode turns, and I feel like a lot of people were probably another weird thing. I watched House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel series, before, like right before this episode aired. And of course, I was like, "Oh man, like I had enough crazy incest bullshit. Like, I'm gonna watch my Rick and Morty. Like, I'll have no more of this crazy incest bullshit." And then we got, I don't know if you can call it that, but we can call it. There's got to be something out there that you can call it. That's They don't have a term for having intimate relations with your clone yet. I don't think, but if we did, I'm sure it'd be frowned upon. So, we get Beth's, like, there was like kind of a moment where they were like, there was nope. And then, we got Summer kind of finding out that it maybe was going to happen. And then we got Morty absolutely finding out that it was going to happen. And followed by Rick, who knew it was going to happen, which kind of leads me to a little part at the end there. We'll get there. But Rick seemed to know what was going to happen. It's kind of funny. Like, I feel like it's weird that Beth made out with Beth. But, Rick coming out there and being like, yeah, what happens? Like, Rick having sex with himself, I think, is like really easy to think of. Like, that didn't faze me at all, especially with the episode where he, had sex with all of the all of Unity. I don't know. I don't want to say all of the people who Unity were, including like a giraffe and plenty of other weird things. Like I'm pretty sure it's out there by now that Rick's bisexual, and Rick doesn't give a shit about who you are. So Rick having sex with another Rick is not really like that. Yeah, that wouldn't faze me. However, Beth having sex with her own clone, I thought was very strange. It was kind of off-putting for a second, and I feel like a lot of people, it was like made them. I bet probably some people changed the channel at that point. I didn't. I wasn't that far out of it, but the more that we got in the episode, the more I laughed about it. I thought it was hilarious. So, and most of the funny parts were Summer and Morty finding out about this, and like. And the times when they were hanging out together, playing video games, staring off, and obviously what happened later when they were at the table for Thanksgiving. A quick shout out that they had Rick go get pardoned for being a turkey again, which I thought was fucking hilarious. Damon, the runner of the Facebook group, the Harmon Hole, which is a very awesome Facebook group, so go check that out if you're running into this stream. Lots of Rick and Morty stuff, but also lots of community stuff, just stuff that Dan Harmon works on. Cool page. He says Rick will fuck non-humans, so who knows? Rick, yeah, he fucked a planet. He, whatever. I'm sure he would have had a go at that horse milking machine if he fancied it. So I'm not surprised at all. not at all off put by that idea. I was pretty sure something like that was going to happen, but yeah. So like very interesting dynamic for the episode, and then like I said, like I was interested. I was kind of like off put by it, but I didn't not tune in after that, and I think I'm pretty happy because I actually ended up liking the episode quite a bit. Ooh, stepping on something. Oh my god. Trying to see if I can change this over, but whatever. I'm crazy. Another gag that I liked was Rick digging through that whale guts while he was talking to Beth. He was cutting open what looked to be like a fish or a dolphin or something like that, and it had like techno guts, which seemed like Rick was being like totally heartless, but he was saying like, it's whatever. I'll replace it with other pairs. And I like how he said like it smooths out the gaming. Like, it was almost like it was a different processing chip. Like, when you play on a computer and they say, oh, if you have this graphics card, it'll smooth the game out. You won't have any glitches. It'll help you out. Like, it was just like, it was a very gamer culturist joke, which I guess is kind of the theme of the episode is, different things in gaming culture. So, and this is when Beth reveals that she, had sex with Beth while going to get the ice cream, which was another funny callback based on, them going to get the fucking ice cream at the spider planet there when Summer is stuck in the ship and the ship kills everyone and keeps Summer safe. Now, the part I absolutely laughed at and just like could not stop laughing. I laughed through the entire commercial break. Like I even said out loud, like that's fucking funny. Like I was like couldn't get over it. Was Jerry Jerry turning into a pill bug and shelling up because he couldn't handle the revelation that Beth had sex with Beth. Honestly, like it came out of nowhere and it was just really weird. It was almost like when Rick had the weird thing that he shot out onto the table in the toilet episode that had a big shit coming out of it that gave the guy the finger. Like it was just like a really weird sort of thing that happened in the middle of the episode. I like I don't know. I laughed my ass off when he turned into it. Was like it really kind of threw an edge, like threw a wrench into the episode, like just him retreating into pillbug mode and Rick just saying like, "Oh yeah, I forgot I did that," which is classic Rick. But and then we find out that it's something that Jerry had requested to be done. But yeah, just Rick fucking with people and like installing a protocol. Like it's like when Morty has the turns into a car, and obviously that happens in the after credits where he actually turns into a car. Yeah, just the randomness of it was like the thing that made me laugh probably the most out of this whole thing. After that, obviously they pulled out the Morty's mind blowers thing and tried to say like the Beths were like, well, we'll just erase this, we'll go back to normal. And Rick says like everyone else has seen it, so it's not going to help or whatever. At some point, Rick reveals that he has a tattoo on his ass of him and Morty as birds. It might be them as the turkeys. I couldn't quite see, and I didn't rewind any of the episode because I had to get down here and react to the episode as quickly as possible. And yeah, like that made me laugh quite a bit. I thought it was great, and brings us to another great Jerry part. So Jerry finally comes out of the pill when he realizes he doesn't want them to erase their memories. He's being kind of petty and childish. He's being a baby, but babies don't, care about what other people do. And it was an interesting, like, kind of revelation. I thought it was going to lead to Jerry just being okay with the relationship. and just reverting back to his like wanting to be in homeostasis, wanting to be like I want to stay married and I want to stay with kids and I want these things to continue. So I'll just stick around. And um, but it didn't turn out that way. He was like, okay, well, I'm leaving then, and went upstairs, and they found out through the Beths being like, kind of coming after him about it, or at least the one Beth coming after the Space Beth was very aggressive about it, whereas regular Beth was also trying to just stay in her marriage and just stay okay. And um, and then the next part that got me so bad was just like him talking, him constantly talking about his weird little dick. Like, oh, I'll just take my weird little dick and leave, and then whatever. And like, it just like Beth was like, like what the fuck? What's this coming? Because you've seen it. It's my weird little dick. Like it's kind of reminds me of in Deuce Bigelow movie where the one guy, the FBI guy who's coming after him, like keeps telling him about his tiny dick. And yeah, it was pretty funny. I laughed throughout that whole part. Every time he said weird little dick, I at least chuckled. And then they found out that that he was more upset that they didn't come to him and ask him about it, which is kind of weird, and it kind of gives Jerry like a thought of ownership over Beth, which is weird because obviously Beth is the one who wears the pants of the family. And this kind of shows that that Jerry kind of feels like he has some owner, like he kind of feels like he should be notified about this sort of thing. And then it turns into a really weird fucking cuckold porn type weird shit. And before it gets too adulty and in graphic, we get to go back to Summer and Morty trying to have a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner while their parents, all three of their parents, get into something weird. I didn't really listen to all of the conversation because you're hearing two different conversations at once, but there was definitely some weird shit in there. And Morty had way oversalted his food because of it, and Rick just tried to move on with it. And the funny part after that was just that that was just the solution. They were like, cool, we're gonna do this weird thing, and then Space Beth is leaving again. So I don't know when Space Beth will be back. She hasn't really she's left, but she hasn't really left. She's been back for almost all the episodes since she was created, or well, since the character was seen on screen. So yeah, it's is this the end of Space Beth? Is she going away for the season now? What? I don't know. Which, the very end of the episode is kind of like open to interpretation, I think. I'm not sure. I bet Damon will know what this is, but like him having the bottle of wine that they drank at the start and then putting it back in the case and then destroying the remote. There was a really weird potion and there was a tiny Morty in there too. I don't know what that was all about. There was some E6 box in there. Did Rick set this up with some weird wine that like makes people, super horny or something like that? Was it the wine? Like it's the same color as the wine, I believe that that Mr. Nimbus had. So I don't know. Maybe it's some weird Mr. Nimbus sex wine. I don't know. Fucking. It was very interesting, but he definitely, like Rick was shown to put it away and then destroy the. Yeah. But Damon comments in with, I was confused by that too. Got to rewatch. Yeah, I quickly kind of like stopped it and like went back and whatever, and I was like, is this going to be explored later? I don't know. But nevertheless, funny episode. And then at the end, we get to see Jerry Barry again after the credits, and that Jerry got a little quick bit of Jerry action. It was funny that when he stopped by, the lady was like, "No, we can't let you in here, but you can't come on your own because you might be a Jerry trying to make out with another Jerry, and it's like, oh, sorry, I wasn't trying that, and then found a back alley Jerry to get a little bit of action with, which was a kiss, and then he was like, cool, good, and left. So Jerry is unspoiled, I guess. Still, I don't know. I don't know what you want to say. He has. I mean, is it even different? Like that would be him with an alternate dimension him, as opposed to Beth with a clone of herself. Is that better? Is that worse? Is that like are we supposed to judge that more or less? I don't know. Great episode. Like same thing. Like I well, not same thing, but like I said earlier, I was kind of interested in how it was, where it was going to go, and once it got there, it was a lot funnier than I thought, and it explored again like the nature of taboo relationships and stuff like that, which is, kind of interesting, but I don't know. I guess it just made you think. It just made you. It was one of those really weird sort of like, what the fuck would happen if this and this happened? Like, what? It was a very what if kind of weird fucking relationship episode. I want to talk a little bit about episode 2. I'm not going to go through it quite as crazily as we just went through. I don't want to give a full report on it, but I did quite like the last episode. Let me just go here. I just want to bring this up. By the way, I got to get my music back. I keep forgetting. I didn't really think about it all the way until there, but I got to get the Rick and Morty fan show music back. I put a lot of heart into that goddamn music, and now it's not really helping me. So episode 2 was the Die Hard episode. It was the episode where like one of the gags that kept going on was Summer just continually said that she was like, I'm doing a Die Hard, and they're like, oh well, if you're doing a Die Hard, you know what Die Hard does, and they just kept saying Die Hard. Like if you had to drink every time they said Die Hard, then that would be great. That you'd be fucking wasted by the time the end of that episode. It was good. It brought back the Roy. It brought back it was a callback to all the Roy simulation episodes. It had blips and chips again. I liked the idea that he had to go into the Roy to gather all the pieces of Morty. All the people were all part of Morty, and had to gather all of them together, and he had to convince them that they were parts of Morty. He had to save all of them that he can. He wasn't able to save some parts. He did it by starting like a weird cult, which was funny because he had to keep convincing them that it wasn't like, I'm not a fucking cult leader, guys. Like this is not. I'm not some crazy prophet. This is real. Like you really are a kid in a video game, and it was funny that he had to keep telling them about that, and all the Morty people were all like quick to jump in and join this cult, which kind of proves like again like how gullible Morty is. But there was some people who opposed him. It was neat that it was kind of like a small universe inside a universe as well. Kind of gave me the vibes of the Solar Opposites side story with the mini people. Kind of gave me that vibe where it was like it was a world in a world, almost like the mini-verse or the microverse, because nothing that was in there was going to affect the universe other than Morty coming back, or in what percentage of Morty coming back from that. Also, it was interesting. I feel like that episode, this episode, and Morty's Mind Blowers, a few of them really call back to Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, the movie, which obviously one of the episodes is named after. So Harmon and Roiland, or one of them, must be a really big fan of that movie. Because they all kind of have that sort of vibe in it where, erasing memories and that's kind of what I thought was going to go. I mean, obviously, the episode where he was going through Bird Person's memories was the biggest tribute or parody or whatever you want to call it of that movie. Um, so that was really interesting that they kind of keep going to the well on that one. It was I liked. I mean, so the Die Hard thing was kind of it was funny, but it was kind of like not very. It wasn't a deep story. It wasn't something that was like. It was just her running around killing people and being Die Hard, and eventually she read the book that he left in the shitter of Die Hard, so she knew how to Die Hard properly, which was to tape the gun to your back, which of course is like even in the movie, it's kind of pulled off in like a ridiculous way. So I don't know. It's just kind of funny. Oh, interesting. Let's get some interesting knowledge from Damon here. Surprises seem. Oh, Alex Rubens wrote "Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind." Is that what you're saying? Or he wrote this episode as well as episodes of Community? I don't know. Have to get back on that one. Yeah, I enjoyed the episode too. I think it's the weakest of the three episodes. I did like the first episode and this episode better so far. If I had to rate this episode, episode 6, 3, I think I would probably rate it something in the 8 range, 8.5. I really did like the story, and I do want to go back and watch this one. Whereas the last one was kind of like more of a 7-ish. I don't know if I rated the opening episode, the first one. I'd like to go back and watch it again because it's not so fresh in my mind. But I feel like that would be again in the 8 range. So like an 8 and a 7 and an 8. We're kind of veering into the same territory here as the sperm episode, I think, where I'm going to enjoy this episode more than other people are just because the weird psychology behind it. And I don't know. I just really like jokes about jerking off and weird, weird sexual shit. I don't know. I guess I like. I don't know. I guess I just like this weird shit that they're going through right now. The one thing that, once again, like I'll mention it again, I mention it on almost every show. I'm not a big fan of how they do so many callbacks right now. There's so many. Like we had to get more Roy, we had to get more Jerry Barry, we had to get like I feel like the writers are just kind of like constantly using some sort of fan service here. I do like Rick not having the portal gun. That seems to have limited him a lot, and we're gonna have to. It forces him to get more creative, like just like Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland have said before that time travel is kind of a like it's kind of a band-aid. It's kind of a we could do whatever the fuck we want. We can always like so why would we do anything? Which is obviously a very Rick and Morty type of thing. But um, it's it like we're taking it to another degree now. Him not having the portal gun, so him not even being able to use that. Although he can turn himself into a chicken or into a turkey and fly wherever he likes, because you know he can do that now because he's a fucking turkey vampire. Um, I Damon says he likes the callbacks. How dare you disagree with me? How dare you come on my show and disagree with me? No, I'm just kidding. I think a lot of people will like it, and I don't know. I'm very I'm against the grains in so many ways lately. I mean, this is a Rick and Morty show. We're talking about Rick and Morty, but like I've been pretty cool with the She-Hulk. I've been pretty cool with the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power series, which is getting so much hate online, so much. I don't know. Apparently, it just doesn't at all go with the lore of the Lord of the Rings, which I'm a movie fan of Lord of the Rings. I've read the books. I've read Lord of the Rings. I've read Children of Hurin. I haven't read the Silmarillion. I don't remember how much of The Hobbit I read, but I feel like I read part of it and when I was in school never got to it. But anyways, I'm not like one of the persons. I'm not one of those people who remembers the lore like so well. I'm very much a scatterbrained person who forgets everything that I read and watch and do and whatever. I'm just a very I don't know. Memory is not a thing for me. So when they do these random things, it doesn't bother me at all. House of the Dragon, which everyone seems to absolutely love, I've been super critical of. So I don't know. I guess shit that I like is just not shit that other people like. So I don't know. Whatever. So I'm not a big fan of the callbacks, but as they continue to happen, like they're fun. But I want to see new shit. I want to see stuff expand. So we'll see what happens. And I think that's going to be it for us tonight. That's my quick reaction. I may come on next week and give a little bit more detailed reactions, or if I learn anything more about this episode and the Easter eggs and things like that. There's lots of great Easter eggs episodes out there. This is a quick reaction for you guys to come and watch. But let one of those other guys come in here and do the detailed reactions to and all the Easter eggs and all that shit. I'm just gonna quickly react to the episode and come and bring you my opinion, and hope you do. Please, if you can, give this episode a like. Subscribe if you want to watch more. If you want to, get an alert to when the next episode's gonna be out. And yeah, we'll all be back here in the return for in Rick and Morty fan show next week. The search for more money. So yeah, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and join the Facebook group, the Rick and Morty fan show, which is it's there, it's in there. Or join Fandom Empire now, or or don't, or fuck off. Just come watch every week and don't subscribe to anything, and don't press the like button. Whatever the hell you want. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. So that's going to do it for us today. Thank you for joining us, Damon and Jeremy, and for everyone else who comes and watch later. I will catch you on the flip side. Yeah.